you guys doing? What's up? I know you guys are excited. Google Classroom, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about real quick how to factor trinomials. You can watch this video over and over again. In the case that I'm going too fast, just put the pause button and you can watch it, all right? So first of all, when we look at factoring trinomials, there's 4 steps I want you guys to be able to think of. Really 3 steps. So if we want, scratch out this 4th step, all right? All right, the first step, obviously the first thing you look for is a GCF, right? Of course. Look for a GCF. The next step that we're going to see is if it qualifies for dots. If it qualifies for dots, then with that being the case, we're going to use the dots method. All right? But however, with most of your homework, neither one of these methods except GCF really applies. But the third method is really what you're going to be looking at, unfoiling. All right? So we're going to focus mainly on your third method, understanding how to unfoil a trinomial. The first thing you want to do is set up 2 sets of parentheses. All right? Set up 2 sets of parentheses. Also, when you do that, look at the first term. What number is in front of the first term? If you don't know what's in front of it, right off the back, you want to know the number is 1. So being that 1 is the first number that's there, you don't have to do anything with it. All right? As I do another example with you, you'll see it'll be a little bit different. All right? However, with this example, since 1 is your coefficient, don't worry about it. But what multiplies together to give you a squared is what you're looking at, which is a times a. So a here, a there. Yes? A times a gives you a squared. Now, let's skip over this middle term for a second. Skip over this middle term. We don't need to look at it right now. Let's look at this last term here. This last term is a positive 2. Right? What multiplies together to give me positive 2? First, start off and make yourself a number. Make yourself an actual, chart. 1 times 2 gives you 2. Right? Then also you got 2 times 1. That's going to give you 2. Right? So those are your only 2 options. And then from those options, what I want you to do is I want you to add them together. I want you to add 1 plus 2, which is the first option here, add it together. 1 plus 2 gives you 3. 2 plus 1 also gives you 3. Right? So both of these, 2 plus 1, 2 plus 1 gives you 3. So both options give you 3, so it really doesn't matter. Those are both your factors. Since that's the case, either one of these options work because we're looking for a positive 3. So that's what we're looking for. So either one of these orders doesn't matter. So I can put a positive 1 here, and I can put a positive 2 here. Yes? Yes. All right? You want to make sure whatever the number that as you multiply them, it's going to give you the number when you add them that's in the middle. So they need to multiply to give you the last term, and they need to add together to give you the middle term. Yes? Yes. Great. So this is how it's all done. And when you're done, that's the answer. You put a box around it. Now that's a simple one because the coefficient of the first number is 1. How about we look at an example where the coefficient is not 1? The coefficient of this one, as it's clearly seen, is 2. Right? That's a little bit different. But nonetheless, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to follow my steps. Is there a GCF? Is there a GCF here? No, there isn't a GCF. It's 2, negative 15, and negative 8. There is no GCF. But the beauty part of this is I'm going to say, forget the GCF, I'm going to go to the next step. Is it qualifying underneath dots? Is it 2 perfect squares? No, it's 3 terms. So I still have to unfoil it. Create yourself 2 sets of parentheses. Okay? With the 2 sets of parentheses, I'm still going to look at the first term, 2x squared. What's going to multiply to give me 2x squared? Just like before, I said what multiplies to give me 2? Just these 2 options. Right? And we know what multiplies to give us x squared is x times x. So with that being the case, I know it's either going to be 2x here and x there, or it's going to be x here and 2x there. Either option works. But when we use these 2 options, you got to make sure the next term that we put in will allow us to actually get back to here. Cool. The way you figure out if this is actually correct when we're done factoring it, is if you go back in and you FOIL it. And I'm going to show you that in a little bit. But nonetheless, I put the first term there. What do I do next? Of course, we're going to look at the last term. The last term is negative 8. What multiplies to give me negative 8? Negative 1 times 8. Negative 2 times 4. Negative 4 times 2. And negative 8 times 1. These are all the things that multiply to give me negative 8. That's what we're looking for to multiply and give me negative 8. But now we got to see what adds up to give me negative 15. Does any of these add to give me negative 15? Probably not. But let me do them anyway. This is going to be negative 7. This right here together is going to give you a negative 2. This here together is going to give you a positive 2. This is going to give you a positive 7. So none of these here gave me a negative 15. And that's expected when you have a coefficient that's going to be 2. The reason why is because when I multiply whatever term is going to go here, when I do FOIL, that's going to be the inner terms. When I multiply them together, they're going to give me something bigger than I would have normally got. So I need to figure out what combination of these, when I put them in, will get me to have a negative 15x. Right now, me, a little bit more experienced than you guys, I'm going to go with the biggest numbers here and put them in to see if they work. You can use trial and error here. Don't just try one option and not the other. Try each one of these and see when you put them in, when you FOIL them back out, if it gets you to your original. I'm going to go with this last one because I got a feeling it's going to be the right one, right? I'm going to go with this last one. I'm going to put a negative 8 here, and I'm going to put a positive 1 here, all right? So when I now, since this is my 2 binomial, I don't end there because I'm not sure if this is right. I want to check. I want to check to make sure this is right. So I'm going to go x times x. That's my 2 first numbers. X times x will give me x squared, right? My 2 outer numbers, x times 1, will give me x. Negative 8 times 2x, that's my inner numbers, right? Negative 8 times 2x is going to give me a negative 16x. Sorry, negative 16x. And negative 8 times a positive 1 is going to give me that negative 8 that we need for the third term, right? Now what I'm going to do with all this, I'm going to add it together. I'm going to add it together to see if it gets me back to my original. And if it does, then I did a good job. If it doesn't, then I didn't do a good job. And just to correct this real quick, this should actually be 2x squared. Because it's actually x times 2x. So that's 2x squared. So then I put in, I start writing them out. 2x squared plus x minus 16x minus 8, right? And of course, as we do in class, you got to combine like terms. Negative 16x plus x will give you a negative 15x. So altogether, your answer is, I don't know if you guys can see this, but the answer still is 2x squared minus 15x minus 8, which is exactly what we started off with. So if I put any other combination for these here, I would try them out to see if it gets me to the original. If it didn't, then it wasn't the right combination. But this one happens to be correct. So since this is correct, your answer for factoring this trinomial would be this right here. X minus 8 times 2x plus 1. That's it.